I am saving my gold right now. Should you be saving yours? In this video, OhEmGee is taking a look at my roster so you can see which characters I am investing in, and more importantly, which characters I am not investing in so you don't have to waste your resources. Plus, we'll take a look at my save squads as well, guys. I feel the need for speed.
Slow down, Tony.
Smash it!
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back. Welcome to the channel. Today, I am joined by my favorite massage parlor owner. What is up, OhEmGee, aka MobileGamer? How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I did see that Whale Wars, and that was very bizarre.
It was. You got outed. Your massage parlor is not a secret anymore. And
I don't even know what to say to that.
I don't know if I have as much private time in that place because now everybody is going to be going to it, but I am looking forward to it. Today, I think what we're going to do is talk about my roster. We're going to talk about the roster and see what progress I've made. Now, we've done this video a few times before, and I want to thank all of you guys that watched last month's video, liked it, shared it with your friends. We're going to go through and see what changes have been made in this video. And of course, before we get into it, I want to mention sponsors BlueStacks, Patreon, and Valley merch. There are some cool designs there. And I guess what we want to get started is looking at this player profile screen. Team power went up a little bit. I think it was about 3.8 last month, almost at 4 million, and been holding back on a lot of.
You need to get over 4 million, man. Whale harder.
I know. I got to whale harder, guys, and that is the
all-time rank arena #1. That's kind of a big deal, man.
That is something new, and you challenged me to get up there by getting rank 1 last month. I'm like, all right, I got to get up there, and I found that the arena ranking is more about timing when you do your battles and doing that rather than more what you put on defense. What have you found about up in higher ranking?
Well, basically, you know, we just had the second run around of the Phoenix event, and you know, basically, you know, Phoenix and Ultrons everywhere. In the top 100 on our arena shard. So, I mean, you can drop from 10 to 100 in a couple hours really quick, it seems like.
Or in a matter of a couple seconds if you're like me and you get slingshotted back. But what else going on around here? There's a few more Blitz wins. What else is there to look at this screen? Anything else you want to check?
The one thing I noticed is that you don't have a war MVP, man. You need to get one of those.
I got to whale harder for that thing.
Whale harder. It's always about whaling. That's the solution to everything in this game.
I got a bunch of defensive wins on this current war, so maybe I don't know. I think that plays heavily into the.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of a silly mechanic because you really need to be in that correct node that gives what positive effects, and you know which one I'm talking about. Was it cargo bay?
There's a few of them, but the one thing that I'm noticing this war, they put them in the flight decks, and usually people save those for last, and people are fighting my teams with not as much powerful teams anymore. So maybe that has to do with it.
It's all about defensive wins, so there's not a lot you can do to control the war MVP. It's where your alliance decides to place you. And you know, you get more points for being on defense than winning on offense. So it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it is not a big deal. Believe me, it's such a skewed, weird. I
feel sad that I'm at 0, though. My goodness.
Yeah.
Definitely got to whale harder for that one, guys.
Well,
let's take a look at my roster. There's an offer right there. Should I do it?
No.
Okay, I won't.
Not that one.
Just wanted to see what you would say. All right, so farming. I think last month I was farming a Koye and Shocker, and I am still farming them. I don't even know if I got another gold star on them since the last time we looked at the roster, but they are still on farm.
That might take you another 6 months. I mean, I'm farming those too, and I think a lot of people are because you know, and probably Chavez will be added to that when she becomes farmable. So that's in the data mine, is that Chavez will be farmable at some point.
She is definitely getting a heart as soon as she becomes farmable because I'm going to be upping her power levels. And as you can see there, the Fantastic Four, they are ready for the Invisible Woman. They're all at 5 stars except for Namor. And I'm saving my resources on the aim because I think Invisible Woman's is a little more valuable to the team, and there's not much you could do to control the farm of Mysterio. You just got to get lucky in the raid store and hopefully you're on him. That's about it for the top end of my hearted roster, and then
Graviton. Graviton is an amazing character. He's squishier than I thought, and he's a possible that he'll be used somewhere else in the game. I think he's a very good character.
I think you're right on that, because I think you can make the AIM team into a solid team with just Sinister Supreme and the minions. Obviously, as you can see, I haven't done much play testing with them. They're all at level 3.
Well, there's a counter meta that's already having, which is irony, is Graviton is a debuff heavy character, but currently, with Phoenix and Rhino, that's kind of like an anti debuff currently in the arena, and so I don't know where Graviton would place now. Currently, 6 months ago, Graviton would have been a lot better than he is now.
Yeah, I don't know if you use any of these guys in the arena. I think that one exception is possibly Graviton, like you mentioned, or maybe even Sinister Supreme, depending what kind of team you're running and what kind of opponents you're facing in there. Recent T4, I did this one based on your recommendation, and yes, the damage has went up, so I did the Bestow Light. I like it. It's a good T4 ability. What else has changed on the roster since the last time we talked? Not much here on the upper end, just gearing these characters a little more, getting Storm geared up, because I know how important she is for Ultima 7, and that is coming very soon.
I'm kind of behind on that. Your vision looks solid, man. I'm
finally
glad
got him with the T13.
I've converted you to the House of Vision. You had like a 25K powered vision on our first time we did this video, and
it wasn't because I thought he was a bad character. It's just my resources were going everywhere, and everywhere else is about. It's like, yeah, you're right. I gotta build this character up. He's a good character. Important part of the power team.
What I have to say about your roster, and we looked at it earlier, is that this game is about resource management. Unfortunately, there's just a limited number of credits and gold. Oh my god, it's just limited, right? And what I see your roster is that you definitely have not wasted any. When we get to the bottom, it's almost as important of who you did not put resources into as to who you did put resources, because if you had put all of your resources into like a character like one of the Hydras or something like that, it could have been squandered when it could have gone to a no-brainer character like War Machine.
Or let's go all the way down to this guy. This is a perfect example of what you're talking about. All the way at the bottom, Ravager Stitcher, 6 red stars. Still haven't got the gold star on him, even though he's ready for it, and it's not worth my resources. So that's exactly what we're
even though
talking
he's
about.
6 stars. That's actually one of the worst 6 stars you can get.
You want to know the other one? Kingpin. And that's my other 6-star red star one.
That's bad
got
luck,
one
man.
on Hand Sentry, but that's a pretty good character. Yes, here's that Kingpin.
Hand Sentry is actually going to tank a lot of damage by default. So even though his abilities don't really depend on having stars, like his damage output doesn't matter anyways. It's just about his ability, his special.
Yeah.
So, but he still takes a lot of damage. So he's there. So he's basically a tank.
Yeah, and I run him on a team with Ultron and Drax. So Hand Sentry gets killed, Drax is ready to tank again. Like Drax takes some of those initial hits, Hand Sentry takes those second wave of hits, and then by then Drax is ready to tank again. That's why you need takes those third wave of hits. So Ultron is ready.
Doctor Strange in there to revive them.
We're going to talk about them with the same squads. You mentioned some changes to that. Shield, no, I didn't put it on Shield Assault. I put it on Operative there, down here. But Hulk, I built him up a little bit more. Fun character, especially with that new team. When we get the save squads, I'm going to show you that new team that you recommended to me.
And Tony came up with that team, so I can't take credit for it, but that's a fun team. We'll talk about that.
Yes. What else have I done? Shield Operative. Got this one on there, also on your recommendation, and I think the extra focus really helps. It helps her, it helps the rest of the team, and these extra counters are really good because it means that if Nick Fury gets attacked once, that he can spread counters to everybody when he gets his second turn.
Yeah, it's not the most important one, but
it's not. It is underrated though. It's underrated.
It does help, but it helps the whole team. It's always working. I mean, giving, a character, 40% more damage on their special ability, and that happens once per match. Now, that passive on Shield Operative is affecting every character on every turn to a certain degree. Now, focus is not the most important thing, but it does help, like a Shield Assault is kind of clear away those debuffs, things like that.
Sort of. He's got a small chance. I mean, for me, she is my main debuffer, so that focus really helped. And the last T4 that I did since then is one that I've been wanting to do for a long time.
That's a way better T4 in my opinion than, I mean, Shield Operative is fine, but that's a way better.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Shield Operative I used way more than Black Panther, even though Black Panther's is better on paper.
Isn't Shield Operative going to get cut out of the team when Coulson comes out, most likely?
Maybe. I'm thinking either her or Assault. I still haven't decided yet. Assault obviously gives that crit chance, so it makes the
crit
team
chance
better.
Is what causes the turn meter drop. I mean, that seems pretty important.
Yeah, so I would have to test it out. When we were at a dev server, we didn't get to test out a bunch of different combos. We just used them once.
I'm planning on pulling Operative out with Coulson coming out. And that's my plan.
This is who you pull out as well, but I do want to.
Because you're going to get the minions that do from Nick Fury anyways, that kind of do what she's doing. So
they'll be summoned on turn 1, but they're usually killed on turn 1, and I don't have anybody to debuff. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But it's a defensive team. So.
And Coulson's going to be debuffed, so that's good.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice team. I can't wait to theorycraft that one. Not much change here. I built up Punisher a little more because he is super important to that defenders team. Been slacking on him, but definitely want to get him up to maybe Luke Cage or Daredevil level. Where's Daredevil?
Typically
Daredevil's all the way up here.
Yeah, typically you're going to want your Iron Fist and Punisher to be the two highest power on a defender team. I mean, you could even have it lopsided towards those two. Like if you had a team of everybody at 40,000, the Punisher and Iron Fist, and you could take them up higher, 45, 50,000.
These guys are going to take a lot of gear for that. The reason they're so low is look at the 2 measly red stars on Punisher, and the 3 small red stars on Iron Fist.
It's kind of a waste right now. I mean, with all the changes to Blitz, it's not like they're going to win anyways in 8.3 the way it is now.
They do win. They do win at 8.3. So that's why I built up Punisher. Not much change here. Built up my Wakandans a little bit, and we'll talk about them a little later. Managed to pull 5 red stars on your favorite character here.
My favorite character.
As you can see him.
Nobu's trash.
I know you're jealous. I
I think I have a 5-star also. Nobu's trash.
I know that's something a lot of people would be proud of if they got that. And then this is just the bottom of my roster. I use these guys in Blitz. Definitely going to be farming her. When she comes farmable. And resource management. We talked about this a little bit more. Not using the gold because that gold is saved for Sue Storm. She is coming out tonight.
Here's the thing about Rhino is like, what's the point in taking Rhino all the way up until you have your Shocker? I mean, it's going to take you forever to, Shocker. If you're not, doing refreshes on your Shocker, it's going to take months before your Shocker is at 7 stars. Because really, the only purpose of the Sinister Six, the way I see it currently, is to unlock higher star level Invisible Woman. And, that event's today. Who knows when the next one will come around? Several months, I'm sure. Seems like they're more frequently. Don't you agree?
They are. Yeah, it is very very much so frequently. I'm not sure when they made that switch, but they started running them almost every week at some point, like 3 weeks back to back. They had some legendary event. But for me, the one sticking point for this Sinister Six is Mysterio. He's always going to be the furthest behind because you can't really control that unless you're spending cores to refresh that raid store. And even then, you might get nothing out of it. With the Shocker, I think he's going to get there a lot quicker.
My Mysterio is actually outpacing my Shocker quite a bit, so I don't know.
Really? Interesting. But as far as the Sinister Six, awesome on war defense. Oh my goodness. You really got to punch down with them. It's hard to punch up against them unless you're using one of your stronger teams. But very, very deceptively tricky.
I put mine on defense today and they did not hold, but I did not see the power level of the team that they took in versus them. But I was hoping to brag with all kinds of defensive wins, and it didn't happen, but that's okay.
Well, here's the thing. If you underestimate them, very easy to get those defensive wins. If you take them seriously, like they should be taken seriously, you'll beat them. They're not. They're not a counter team that you can.
I kind of look at them like as a better version of Kree. That's kind of how I look at.
They're like they're a little bit stronger than Kree. Worst version of Brotherhood is probably a decent. No. Yeah. You're right. No, Brotherhood. The worst version of Brotherhood, but better version of Kree.
Brotherhood? What are you talking about? Brotherhood's amazing.
With all their debuffs that they apply to the other team.
Yeah. No,
their ability blocks and their blinds and their heal blocks.
And the way the team works, and it just kind of reminds me of Kree in a lot of ways. Just it's good. And I had good luck even in U6. I was 142,000 power AIM minion team with Graviton Scientist Supreme was doing okay in U6 with 142,000. I was impressed. Mm-hmm.
They're a very good raid team. They're much better. For me, I haven't found the heals as often enough, but I think both of these teams are very good if you put the work into them. You put the T4s into them. But
this is the first time you ever see me ahead of you on Blitz. My goodness, you're taking taking this one off.
I did one rotation. That's it.
I just get the milestones, right? Rotations.
Mm-hmm. I'm just getting the milestones on this one, and then maybe dropping back down to tier 1 and doing some auto wins just so I could get more Blitz store currency. But this is my team. Now, this is a team that someone recommended on a stream last night. Very, very fun team. This is why I would like a lot of save squads, because everybody here puts defense up on the team. And he hits the lowest enemy with that defense up. So this is a fun team.
Well, especially if you had like a 7 red star,
Killmonger.
Yeah, Killmonger, right?
Warmonger, yes.
Warmonger, Killmonger, Mantis, Minerva. The other one that I'm mixing up lately too is Shield Security and AIM Security. I just keep calling them the wrong names. It's great.
Because people just shorten security and then forget about what that first part is actually. Saved squads, not many changes here, but we're going to talk about a few changes that I think I'm going to make, especially for the Winter Soldier Blitz. Still running BKT at the top, and I probably will keep them as a save squad just for the raids. Maybe that will change once Ultimate 7 comes around, because I don't know what their value would be when they're having to punch up all the time. Fury Shield, nothing much has changed about them except for their power levels. Same with X-Men. This is an interesting team where you're suggesting this guy getting out of the team.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that team. It's going to win. I'm sure it's fine, just perfectly fine inside of Blitz. In War, on defense, I like using, Doctor Strange right there.
I think that's who I have on War based on what you said. I think Doctor Strange is in a spot in War.
And I didn't come up with that idea. That was, we played against Casinos Guild, and a lot of people there were using that. And it was, I mean, other than like power armor, it was really hard to get through.
That's where I find a lot of the best war teams. When I'm actually facing someone on defense, I'm like, this is a tough team to get around. Let me start using this team.
I got to tell you, I came across some nightmare teams last time where they actually paired up Ultron with Captain Marvel, like Drax, Hand Sentry, and Doctor Strange, and you're just like, oh my god, it's just it's so ugly.
Putting everything into one team, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Jeez.
and it's just like, man, and you can't sleep on Captain Marvel. I mean, she will just go and go and go and heal and heal and heal, and unless you burst her down, she's gonna come back, and it's not fun. And again, power armor was like the only thing to get through that.
Captain Marvel is very tough to punch up against in War.
And if we've seen people, clear the whole team, but Captain Marvel, and I've seen these things where someone has like an 80,000 power Captain Marvel, and even like a 200,000 power Wakandan team will struggle. I think I've had that happen to me personally, where it's like my 200,000 power Wakandans could not take down a Soul 80,000 Captain Marvel. It was just a mess.
She is a beast, especially on War defense. So that is a strong team going up against.
Like in a 1-versus-1 fight, I think should win even Ultron. And that's all. Ultron's different. Ultron gets his minions off.
If you don't get the minions off for Ultron, you lose. If you do, then you win.
If you can control the minions on Ultron, he's beatable. But he's unbeatable once those minions come out. But her by herself is another story altogether.
She's strong as hell. And the team that she's on, there's the Brotherhood, but this team is the one that you suggested. I think Tony suggested to you. Fun. This is the defender beater. This is love this team.
So how that team works there is that if you can turn one Loki, hit Luke Cage, and then he'll have defense down, and then Captain Marvel will come in right behind him and basically kill Luke Cage off a defender team, and then that is an auto win. I mean, not having to deal with defense up and Luke Cage taunt makes Iron Fist a non-event, because leaving Iron Fist alone and just healing into defense up is a real pain, because then you're not doing any damage and he's healing through the damage, and it's being able to get rid of Luke Cage. That team wins against defenders. Punch up hundreds of thousands easily.
Yeah, this is a very strong team, and then usually Loki dies for me, but usually Captain Marvel and Hulk are so strong that they overcome it. I could go from auto at that point once Luke Cage is down.
Well, basically, I mean, I have a little bit higher Loki on my team version of that, and Loki does go into stealth and the minions pop up. But by then, they haven't dealt with Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel is just picking off the rest of the team and just going through, and there's no way of really getting to the Captain Marvel quickly with all those with Captain America and Hulk and Loki basically protecting the Captain Marvel.
All right, next team, we got Power Armor, Defenders. Both of these got slightly stronger, but not much work put into them. And then we got this guy. This team is much different once I've leveled them. Very different at 150 than at 200. Not just for the scoring more points, but they actually work way better when you start to build them up. So, liking Wakandas.
You've got really good star levels on your Wakandans. I mean, Okoye and Killmonger. All of them are above 4. That's pretty decent. We got 3-star there, M'Baku, but my goodness.
One of the main reasons I wanted to build these guys up, because I got lucky on red stars for all of these guys, and they have been very sweet. This team's a little weird. We're going to talk about some alternates for that we're talking about. This hero brawler is working very well, even with this Miles lagging far behind. And then this team is a little weird as well, and same with this one right here. So some switches that we talked about making before.
Right. Well, there's three categories of teams that are kind of in chaos, in my opinion, right now. All of the Spider-Verse, all of the Mystic Controllers, and then also the villains. It's just like getting them to work is really challenging, and they've really become like a second tier team, useful up until about 8.0. But after that, not so much, you know what I mean? And it's really hard to make anything work with them unless you just, some strange combo or ideal matchup. They're just kind of pick your place and just kind of hope for the best, right?
Yeah, you need the right matchups for a lot of these teams, and once you get to 8.3, even with a newly revived Blitz with the different opponents, it's still going to be a struggle.
Yeah. You're not going to punch up 100K against a random commander team, one of the mismatched, no matter what. I mean, maybe depending on how badly mismatched that team is. Well, you hope maybe a team with like a Night Nurse and Shield Medic, and
I love those
Nebula,
teams.
Right?
Those old school teams with one Luke Cage, one Spider-Man, a Crossbones, maybe Elektra, and like a very starter team. I like those.
Yeah, do you remember the Hulk Luke Cage combo where Luke Cage would put defense up and then Hulk would immediately go after it and taunt, and then the defense up would expire, and it was like the defense up did nothing? Those were great.
Such good theory crafting with
I know, way back in the day. I was like, oh my God. Awesome. Anytime I saw those two paired up together, I would go against it every time, because I knew that you'd just be able to blow through the Hulk and not even worry about Luke Cage.
Yeah. So the one thing that we were talking about before we started recording, switching out, putting Doctor Strange on that team that we mentioned instead of Shield Trooper, moving Shield Trooper down to this team and putting Venom up to that team. So that is something I want to try out. So I think by the next time we make this video, see a lot of changes, not just because of the extra save squads and level 71. You also see Invisible Woman, and some of these teams switched around as well. Yeah. And then this team works very well. They can pretty much auto at that level.
Yeah, well, that's the thing at that level. Kree?
They're okay. They're okay. They need the right matchups. And with these harder matchups, even unsynergized teams, these guys are having problems. They seem to just run out of steam towards the end.
Right.
Yeah, and that's about it. That's my teams.
And then the thing I'll say about that is, like, you know, when a team is mediocre right when it comes out, like Kree, and maybe even like the aim is very good, but it's kind of mediocre. The problem with that is that it gets worse over time, and defenders are getting worse over time. Kree is getting worse over time, or not worse. It's just that everything else is moving up, you know, through power creep and new characters coming in.
Yeah, exactly. So, AIM, I don't think they're ever going to lose that fun team, because I still think they're a fun team, and they might not ever be in the meta, but they're definitely a fun team. So definitely want to.
I think there's a
when I have the resources.
I think there's a secret AIM team out there. I'm waiting for it.
Ooh, does it involve someone with a big head?
Yes, MODOK for sure.
Nice.
No, I mean, I just think, I mean, I'm going to put the minimal amount of resources into them, and when I be my minimal, which might sound like a lot to people, but minimal effective amount of effective amount of resources. You know what I'm talking about? You get above 60. You know, where so you can put all the purples on them, and you get them to like 9 or 10, maybe take them out to 63. But it's just that kind of that 25 to 32,000 bandwidth where they're effective at what they're doing, right? Would you agree with that?
That's probably around where I want to take them as well. Maybe like a total of about 150,000 power and try them out. Because I don't think, unless I'm maxed out on some of these meta teams, I don't think I'm going to put too many resources.
No. How are you going to be maxed out on other teams when we've got Invisible Woman coming out? And, you know, based on how that turns out and the effectiveness of that in other game modes other than war. Yes, she's going to be good in war, and that team's going to be good in war, but, you know, I kind of want to get a little bit more out of it. You know, if it's not good in Blitz, then why do I want to do that at all?
Yeah, exactly. At the very minimum, a team needs to be able to win in Blitz. And,
yes, correct. And
some of my teams aren't winning in Blitz.
Yeah, I see them winning in Blitz. I think it's going to be fine. But that, you know, that's not just one character. Like, we're going to get Coulson, right? And Coulson, that's one character to upgrade. But, you know, taking Fantastic Five all the way up, and it's Fantastic Five. We're just going to call it Fantastic Five.
It is. It is. The devs call it Fantastic Five. We should call it
five characters all the way up. I mean, that's so. I mean, you only have 1 million gold. I mean, you're going to unlock Invisible Woman tonight, and that's, you know, you're going to get her to level 60.
I don't think I'm getting her to level 60 tonight, but I'll get her as high as I can.
You're right.
Cool. Well, that is my roster, guys. Those are the changes that have happened over the past month. What do you like about what I've done? What do you not like about what I've done? Let me know in the comments. OhEmGee, we are going to take a look at your roster right after this, but the video might not be up until tomorrow, so make sure you guys check those out. And anything else to promote?
I just want to say top 2 tips for this game. 2 tips in 2 words: whale harder.
Ooh, that could actually be the top 3 tips right there, guys. Remember all of that stuff. Thank you to my favorite massage parlor owner, and I will see you guys next time. If you like this video, subscribe, join the notification squad, check out my Discord, check me out on social media. I will see you next time. Share this with your friends too. It helps the channel.
Check ValleyFlyin out. Check ValleyFlyin out on Grindr, Tumblr, all every social media everywhere.
Do that, guys. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin out.